sun's out, which means it's barbecue time. So, welcome back. Today we are going to be smoking some racks of St. Louis cut pork ribs out on the Weber Kettle. I'm going to put them both on a snake method, which is going to let them cook sort of low and slow. I'm going to use a bit of a variation on what's called the 3-2-1 that a lot of people sort of tend to find works for them. Although with the meatiness of these ribs, it's going to be more like 4-3-1 to be fair. So we'll see how it goes anyway. So, big meaty ribs. First thing we want to do with these ribs is remove the membrane off the back. So if you turn the ribs over to the bone side, you're going to see a sort of thick band of sort of white membrane basically. Fairly easy to remove once you've got the knack of it. The way I find works best is to get a blunt knife under one corner, get hold of a paper towel for some grip and then just yank it straight off. So we're going to take a knife and just try and separate it at one corner point somewhere down here. Blunt one because A, you don't want to cut your fingers, and B, you don't want to end up taking any of the meat off if you can help it. If you stick the knife up the back of one of the ribs and then just cut off to that corresponding side, that's going to help you to get all of that bit started. So once you get a start, get hold of a paper towel. Try and grip hold of it the best you can and just start pulling it. Off to one side. You can see it comes off quite easily. The bulk of it comes off, almost in one go really. There we go. I'm going to take a knife to this, trim it up a little bit more, get rid of some of those bits that were a bit more stubborn. So I'll get my knife, just try and trim these thicker bits of white fat out. They're not really going to do any harm, a lot of it will sort of melt away, but you're going to be putting rub on there and you're just going to be wasting it if it all drips off. And for the fat that does remain on them, it can get a bit sort of, well, jelly-like, so slice all this off. So that's not too bad. So what I'm going to do now is turn the rack of ribs over. And I find that some of these ribs, to be fair, need a bit of an extra trim on this side as well. You don't want great big mounds of fat like that. So what I'm going to do is try and get this off. Try and start. Don't worry too much if you're taking a very thin layer of meat off, because that is just in between the fat layers. Guessing that's going to be from the belly that these ribs are removed from. If you've got a dog, that's heaven for your dog. Not mine, unfortunately. I'm intolerant to most stuff. You don't need to go overboard. Just as much as you're happy with. Nobody wants a big bite of fat, but that's fine. That's a nicely trimmed up set of ribs. So yeah, on to the next stage. Guys, the Weber's up to temperature. I'm going to have to keep monitoring it, but I've got it up, the coals are lit, so let's get these ribs on the barbecue. Hey. Right, so this has been humming away for a little while now. The snake was caught, so that's a good sign for smoky, obviously. I'm going to get these ribs on. So, because I'm putting 2 racks on, I'm unlikely to be able to get them sort of laid down flat next to each other on a Weber Kettle 57. And they're big, but they're not that big. These ribs are bigger. So I'm going to be using this. It's a stainless steel dish, plate drainer that you put in your sink. I'm going to try and get this so that the ribs are going to be sat across there. They're each getting a nice amount of heat. As long as these ribs fit in, because they are quite meaty. So we'll put that in like that, curved slightly that way. And we'll do the same with this one. Try and curl them around a bit. Doesn't look the prettiest, but it's going to work. So I'm just going to wash my hands. Let's get this lid back on, and yeah, we'll come and check on these guys. Probably in about 4 hours. Keep that temperature going right, and it'll be fine. See you in a bit. So temperature's been humming away pretty constant for the last few hours. Oh, look at that there, looking perfect. Yeah, I'm happy with the bark. So wrapping them in foil and greaseproof paper now is going to hold that bark. Not going to get too burnt, but it's going to make sure that they cook fully through. So let's get these inside. Right, so we're going to chuck these back on the smoker now. Take the rib rack, or dishwashing up dryer, whatever you prefer to call it, out of the way now. I can plonk these. These can go on top of each other. It's going to be absolutely fine like that. So all we're doing now is, you could put them in the oven to be fair for all it matters. They're not going to take on any more smoke flavour, so they're just going to sit in there, cooking their own steam in their own juice. It's going to tenderise those ribs up perfectly. Right, leave that going. I'm going to go and pick the boy up now, so yeah, we'll be back in about an hour. Cheers. Yep. So the ribs have been on now for about 2 hours, wrapped in the tin foil and greaseproof paper. That should have got them up to temperature in the middle, so that's what we're looking for now, and they should be really nice and moist. So we've been humming away about, I don't know if you can see that, about 225, which is pretty much bang on. I'm using Fahrenheit because that's what all the American recipes do. Pretty much bang on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take these off. Oh, look at them. I'm going to take them off. I'm going to put a bit of barbecue sauce on. Bang them back on for an hour. Let that sauce set. And yeah, job's a good one. Right, let's get these over here. Wham. So look at that. Blooming heck. Yeah, they're looking pretty darn good. I'm just going to check the temperature. I want anything over like 190 basically Fahrenheit. So try and get a bit that's not got a bone in it. What we've got there, 195, perfect. And this is going in here like butter, which is pretty much what you want. That's how you know it's really tender. We've got 195 again-ish. Bang on, bang on. Right. We'll get both these off. They are both looking mighty fine. So all you need to do now is bang a bit of sauce on these, if you like. You don't have to. Bang a bit of sauce on. I'm just going to try and spread this over the top of it all the best I can. go. We're not creating a Michelin star food here, we're creating real barbecue, so don't need to be too fancy. Right, get them on, and I'll get these back on the barbecue. And we're going to leave them on there for about another hour now. So yeah, these are proper tender. This is just how I like them, to be fair. Some people like them with a bit more bite, you know, a bit more sort of like pull when you're trying to bite into them, but I like them tender, almost fall off the bone. And that's exactly what these are going to be like. Oh, look at that. In fact, you can tell they're done because the bone comes straight out. Yeah. Indy, move out of the way, otherwise you're going to get meat juice drips all over you. Shift. Get them on there. Yeah. We'll close this up. I'm probably going to check on them about half an hour, something like that. If I can keep that temperature pretty steady, they're done. They're done now. I just want that sauce to set. So yeah, happy days. Cheers. Hey up. So it's about time. Ribs have been on for about half an hour now. The sauce should have set. We've done a variation on the 3-2-1 ribs. Now these are using the Farm Foods St. Louis cut ribs. They're really good, fantastic value. If you can get them, they're like rocking horse poop basically. But they're really thick, so you have to give them a bit more care and attention. So I've done more like a 4.5, 3-1, something like that. But yeah, so look at them. Nice, look at that. So we'll get a rack of these off. It is tender, that is tender. It is falling to bits almost. Now I like it like this. Some people like them with a bit more of a firmer bite, but I like them like this. It's a bit of a juggling thing to get it on the board, but look at that. See, the ribs are just coming straight out. I am going to eat that, so I'll leave that there for a second. It's going to be difficult to cut these because they are just so, in my opinion, perfect. Let's have a look at this. Lovely meat, it's still quite moist, it's still juicy, it's still nice. You've got a nice smoke ring around the outside. That, to me, is almost a perfect rib. And the reason I say almost is because it's taken a lot longer than I would have liked. That is an absolutely damn fine rib, guys, I'm telling you now. Oh my god. Right, I'm going to chop these up and get them inside because we've got a lot of hungry kids that need feeding. So thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It means so much. I can do more of this if more people join in, basically. So yeah, thanks guys. I'm gonna eat this and I'll see you later. Cheers.